Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey. It's Tune Up and
Dr. Michael Gross, how are you? I am so happy to be with you. We have something exciting to talk to you about this evening, and I'm here with my favorite sister, my only sister now, but she's my favorite. That we're going to do a wonderful presentation for you and share so many things. But the first thing we're
oh
going to
no.
share is, and I beat you to it, is that Healing the Holes in Your Soul, a wonderful book. We've talked about this a lot, and I want to continue to talk about it because it's so motivational. It is so thrilling. It will move your heart, move your soul. It will help you to realize that you are unlimited and you can create your life. Ah, you're hiding.
I'm taking it from you, Michael. But I highly recommend that everybody start here. This is Doctor's book. Dr. Michael Gross wrote this book called The Spiritual Primer. And I highly recommend that everybody get a copy of this and take a look at it, read it, devour it if you can. I know I did. Because if it wasn't for this book and this wonderful man over here, that book would not even be here. So, on that note, we can talk about our books a lot, and there's a reason why we do. We all have challenges in life,
Yes, we do.
and this is one way to start overcoming challenges and understanding your perspectives on life. So that's why we're here, and we're going to put the books down, right, Michael?
And by the way, if you saw the book, there was a little shine or mirror on it. I want to get it out of the way. But you're seeing something spinning, and that's because it's warm. And I have my
Yeah.
ceiling fan on. We're not in an airplane, but the ceiling fan is making us feel cooler. So thanks for putting up with us.
Yeah, thank you for our silliness. Cause thank you for our silliness. Well,
Absolutely.
we love what we do, and we come together every Sunday at 7 o'clock, and we welcome anybody who wants to join and give us, bring in questions, because that's how we continue with the topics to help people stay current. And on that note, we have a wonderful topic for you. But before we get into that, this is the only part that we script. See this? This is the only part we script because I want to make sure that everybody realizes how important, Michael is
Thank you.
and all the things that he's accomplished through his life and how he continues to help change lives. Okay, so here we go. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved miraculous healings and great success. He remains humble, knowing that the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. Michael currently lives in Lakewood, Washington, and has recently launched a nonprofit. And I'm going to let you introduce the nonprofit.
Yes, the International Institute of Self Empowerment. And we named it TISE, TIISE, the International Institute of Self Empowerment. It's a wonderful, beautiful 501c3 that we put together, and I'm very excited about it. But I didn't know exactly what I was to do with it, but Spirit said, to form it, and I did. Then I met this special woman next to me and realized in her writing the book, Healing the Holes of the Soul, all about abuse. And then I decided to take on, as our first project, there'll be 12. The first one is helping abused women, children, and men. And it was so overwhelming to realize how bad that situation is and how women feel powerless. And they usually have several children. So it's all involved in counseling them, getting them into a hotel, getting them safe, finding an apartment, getting counseling for them and their children so that history doesn't repeat itself with their children. And then finding them some kind of job or some kind of vocation that excites them so they too can have self worth, self love, and self esteem. And after reviewing all that, I was honored to ask TU to be head of that department of working with abused women, children, and men, which she's agreed to do. So that's our project. We're open to donations. Our website will be up in another week, and we're so excited. And this is very, very valuable. It's valuable because a woman is so important to the family. She's the rock in the family, and she's the leader in the family. And her children will be inspired by her strength. And of course, that applies to men too, if that is the role that fits it. But more importantly, we don't want history to repeat itself because abusers have been abused or watch their family members be abused. So we're changing the course of history. We're changing the course of each person's life. In order to do this, we're doing fundraising. We're open to all kinds of contributions. And I take this work very, very seriously because it's very important. So we're dealing with future generations when we're dealing with children. And children eventually are going to become our leaders. So give it a thought, and there'll be contact information. So thank you. You want to say anything to you?
Well, I do. Right before we get going, the contact information that we talk about regarding the nonprofit and how to reach Michael and me will all be in the comments. So definitely make sure that when you watch this, you take a moment to save that information, because we do this every Sunday night, and we have some other information that we'll share at the end of this. But let's get started, okay? Because today, it's actually a little bit beyond it, but we've been working together 2.5 years, and I just wanted to say how incredibly blessed and grateful I am that Michael came into my life, because the last 2.5 years have blown me away in the things that I've learned and how I've grown. And I'm thrilled to pieces that we now have an opportunity to share his wisdom with you. So on that note, the topic is your essence is energy.
Thank you. I thought I'd address this because this is a whole plethora of information. And by that, I mean, we need to understand truly who and what we are. So here you are, a physical body. You're male or female. And you have the DNA and attributes of your family. But more importantly, if we really look at ourselves, scientists will tell you you're a bunch of atoms, particles, molecules, neutrinos, mitochondria, and so on and so forth, which is, and previously I talked to or mentioned that you are the soup mix. That's all what I call the soup mix. All these vibrations, these energies, subatomic structure, and so on and so forth. And the reason I'm talking about this is there's a wonderful message the True Source gave me a long time ago. And what it is, what the mind can conceive, the body will believe. Think about that. So these atoms, particles, etc., the soup mix has an intelligence, a wonderful intelligence. And sometimes we don't give it credit. We don't think about it. But here's a very simple thing. So you're walking along, and let's say you're slicing a bagel or a tomato or something, and you cut your finger. Well, then immediately you have a hole in your body because you got a cut. You never thought about it that way. And as you have the hole, blood begins to seep out of your finger. Now, all of a sudden, the message goes to your cellular structure. Oh, there's an opening within the skin. Oh, blood is leaving. So immediately, the antibodies go out and make sure there's not an infection, which is called your immune system. That's in function. And then at the same time, red and white corpuscles and so on, blood cells, they begin to work and they coagulate. So what they do is form a scab. And that scab, it's like a Band-Aid, which is what we use to stop the leaking of blood in your skin. Then what happens, the cellular structure says, oh, there's a hole, gathers together and rebuilds the cells, seals up that hole, which is that cut in your finger. Scab falls off, and most likely you won't have a scar, and your body's whole again. Well, you didn't sit there and tell it to do that. It knew it intuitively, innately to do that. You don't say heart, beat, 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 beat. The inner intelligence of the cellular structure of your heart beats. All right. You don't say breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, because your lungs know what to do. So every part of your body has an intelligence and knows exactly its job. You don't tell your hair to grow. You don't tell your fingernails to grow. You don't tell yourself to grow taller. But what you do tell yourself is to expand your stomach or your body by overeating. All right. You never thought about that, but you're doing that. And the body goes, okay, well, let's see. This person's eating too much food. I've got a lot of pressure on the skin on the stomach. I'm going to have to make it more elastic. If it doesn't, then it's going to burst. So that's what happens. I'm sure many of you have never thought about the intricacies of your body. But more importantly, one of the things that I want to bring out to you that I feel is so important. This is how intelligent your body is. I talk about having the anniversary of your birth, not a birthday party. And everybody goes, well, why? Think about this. We get subliminal messages. And when you're growing up, let's say you're 4 or 5 and grandpa and grandma there, they look young. They could be in their 40s or early 50s, whatever, or younger. And your parents are there and they're probably in their 20s or whatever they are. Everybody's looking young. And each anniversary of your birth, they get a little older, a little older. Pretty soon, grandma and grandpa get grayer and grayer and become more frail in some examples. And your parents begin to get older and get more wrinkles and they begin to be less athletic and so on and so forth. What is the subliminal message that you are sending to your body? And the answer is, I'm going to look just like that. That's why we celebrate the anniversary of your birth rather than your birthday. And I want to relate a little story. And there was a woman who came in, client, not picking on women, and she weighed about 350, 60 pounds. Let's say she was 5'1" or 5'2", and she said, I can't take off weight. It's okay. Let's talk about it. So I did. And she told me that, when she was growing up, her mother had to work a lot, so her aunt brought her up. And so her aunt would take her every day, celebrated birthdays, Christmas, brought her gifts, and just treated her like a queen. And she said, I just always wanted to be like my aunt. I just always wanted to be like my aunt. She is so wonderful. And I grew up, I love my mom, but my aunt inspired me. And everything she did, she made me smart. She made me feel good and happy and not lonely. And she went on and on and on. And I said, well, tell me about your aunt. Well, she worked as an accountant. She did this and that, had a beautiful home. She never got married. I said, what does she look like? Oh, she's 5'2" and weighs about 350 pounds. What the mind can conceive, the body will believe. She wanted to be just like her aunt. Now, her intent was not to weigh 350 pounds. We know that. But you see, there's an intelligence in your essence. And that's what I am talking about. Your body has an intelligence. And this intelligence is very powerful and very strong. Excuse me for a minute, everyone. And because it's so strong and powerful, you are in control of your body. I've mentioned before when a baby, and I remember my children, one time they would eat carrots and string beans and chicken. And there was always some left over in the little jar of baby food. So next day my wife would warm it up and give it to them. They wouldn't touch it. But they would have beef and they would have corn and potatoes. Why, just one meal, why would they not finish it? And the answer is because their body has an intelligence that if you don't eat any more of that, you need something different. So at times, a child is more important in its intelligence to know its needs. So we humans abuse our body. We probably drink too much. We eat too many sweets. We do all this stuff. And whatever it is, I'm not criticizing because that's your choice. But on the other hand, what if you were listening to the thoughts of your body? Say, what should I eat today? Not what I'm craving. What should I eat today? And you spend a moment, you might hear something else. I know at times, I'm a carnivore, I meant that, but there are times I love vegetarian meals because I know my body is telling me, vegetarian time, you need all these vegetables. And it really works well for me. So as we think about our body, I want to stretch this out a little bit more. How do I want to stretch it out? Let's say you are the soul, S-O-U-L and S-O-L-E, designer of your body. Uh-oh. You mean I'm responsible for the way my body looks? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You got a few creases between your rolls? Uh-huh.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Your hair turns color? Uh-huh. So all these things are going on. And what the principal adversary is to your life is your ego. Remember, we talked about that, ego as you got out. Uh-oh. So your ego is saying, well, you put on some weight. I'm too tired to exercise or change my diet. Oh, I got some wrinkles, so I'll put some cream on, or I'll do this or do that, and so on. And we know part of that is caused by a lack of collagen. However, what if you ate differently? What if you thought about life differently? And what if you decided, I'm not going to grow old? Well, you probably say, ha, 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 ha. Sure, Michael. You know what? There are many people that do not look their age, and they're much younger.
He's one of them.
Oh, thank you.
He is one of them. Can I tell them?
Sure.
Okay. I don't, when I met him, I thought he was, in his 60s, maybe even late 50s. He turned 80 in February.
Thank you.
That certainly doesn't look 80 to me.
Well, thank you. So there's a way that treating your body and understanding your intelligence. So remember, your body is an intelligence. Whatever you put into it, say to it, or think about it, eventually it will react. And as you know, my motto, my branding, and now we have to be really sophisticated, is you are unlimited. And I've talked about this so often, and I'll remind everybody in case you forgot, that I often said, what if my mother told me when I was growing up, Michael, you're unlimited, you're unlimited, you're unlimited. Boy, how much different my life might have been. But she did say, you can do anything, you can do anything, you can do anything. And I'm not going to embellish that, but there's so many things I've done in my life to get to this point. But the most important thing is that how do you relate to your body and understanding? Now, there are many people say you should be a vegan or a vegetarian, or you should do this or you should do that. And you know what? If the shoe fits, wear it. So not what the ego says, but if your body feels more comfortable in being a vegan or vegetarian, then do so. If it feels more comfortable being, a carnivore, do that. Probably will disturb some. But I had an Uncle Eddie. Uncle Eddie lived well into the 80s, late 80s. He smoked 1 or 2 packs of cigarettes, unfiltered, every day. And he lived, 86, 88, which was a number of like 40 years ago, which is pretty old. But he didn't die of cancer. He died in his sleep. Maybe his heart stopped. Who knows what happened? But because he smoked the cigarettes, people were saying, well, it's bad for you. Not for me. And he really felt that way, because what the mind can conceive, the body will believe. And when you go to a doctor and they say, that this person has cancer, what do they think? End of life, death, right away. Now, why? There are cancer survivors, and they are healthy today. And the minute that thought comes into your body, that the mind can conceive, body will believe, oh, this person says they have cancer, they may die. Notice my words, they may.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So if you say, you did say, what the mind can conceive, the body will believe. What if, but we don't consciously, you were saying this, we don't consciously think about, lungs breathe, heartbeat. Those are automatic. They are an innate thing that happens to us. So how do we, from a conscious perspective, tap into that subconscious part where we can start telling the subconscious part that I am 20 years younger, whatever.
Absolutely.
I am releasing 10 pounds. How do we do that?
Perfect question.
Thank you.
The answer is very simple. And by that I say it's simple is to first understand that 94% of our thinking comes from the subconscious mind, 6% from the conscious mind. So if we were old, we'd say it's a tape going over and over. A little younger, we'd say it's a CD. Now we call it an MP3 or an MP4. We have to get with times. And what is happening is it's playing over and over in your thoughts. Now, it doesn't, every thought you have is recorded in the subconscious mind, like the hard disk of a computer. And when something occurs, it comes forth and you have this memory. But when you dwell upon something, it begins to come to the forefront and repeats itself over and over and over again. So if you dwell on being sick or aged, that's what you're going to be. If you dwell and think about being 20, well, that's a different story. But you have to believe it. You have to have faith in it. You have to know it and expect it. And that's the rub, as Shakespeare would say.
I
Because
remember that.
many people will espouse something, but they don't believe it. So why should your body listen to it if you don't believe it? It's inconsequential. Therefore, if you say, I'm now the perfect chronological biological age of 20, do it every day, 4, 5, 6 times a day, till it becomes so automatic you don't think about it. And then you begin to embrace the energy. And then someone say, God, you look so much younger. Maybe you're 60 and you don't say you look 20, but gosh, you look so much younger. Where'd you get all that energy? That's when you know it's working. And then you might want to share with some people, but you know they're going to poo-poo it. Oh, that's impossible. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Look at me. I don't look my age. I'm full of vim, vigor, and vitality. I'm full of joy and happiness. That's what you tell them. And they still argue with you. Just say, okay, thank you very much. I want to quote from Dr. Michael Gross, a quote that he got from the true source. What the mind can conceive, the body will believe, and then walk away and leave them speechless. Don't argue with them. Just plant a seed. And hopefully that seed will germinate and they'll pick a chronological and biological age. So a chronological age, of course, is that you want to be age 20, for example. Biologically, you'll take on all those aspects of it. You know something? That is wonderful and that's powering. You know, what is that old cliche? There's just two or three things you can depend upon. Maybe it's two: death and taxes. You've heard that?
Yep.
You know,
More than once.
You know, like, really? That's what your life is all about? Stop thinking that way. Start thinking that I am healthy, strong, and younger in the chronological, biological age of whatever you desire to be. However, I wouldn't, you don't want to become 6 months old and have someone change your diaper when you're 50. You don't want to do that, or be bottle fed.
You want to make sure that you're at least legal drinking age, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what behooves all of us is we see other people go old and decrepit. We see other people get younger. There are people that exercise like heck and they're in great shape. There are people that don't exercise and they're in great shape. Something to think about. And what you're thinking about is, what is the difference? Why is it? And then we've read stories down south where there's a certain religious sect that bitten by poison snakes, drinks strychnine, they don't die. All kinds of different things happen. It all depends upon what the mind can conceive, the body will believe.
Is that like the firewalkers?
Good example. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know anything about it because I haven't actually walked across fire. But isn't it something that you consciously believe that nothing's going to happen, and then you can walk across it? But there's a process. So I mean, I wouldn't encourage you to do it without going through the right process first.
They change their mindset. When the mind can conceive, the body will believe. They believe they can walk on it. They won't feel a thing. They're prepared for it. It's repeated over and over and over again, rather, whatever that mantra is, and they walk across it and they don't burn their feet. Does that tell you something really fascinating about you? And the other thing that's really interesting, when the mind can conceive, the body will believe, is when they come out with a new medication, they always make placebos. And of course, you have the medication. Sometimes they're candy pills. I've heard that. I don't know. And the person that takes it, and a very small percentage that takes the placebo, become healed, just like the one taking the original medication. That's an accepted norm. What the mind can conceive, the body will believe. I know I sound like a broken record.
Well, but it's true. I mean, when I started Taekwondo, I saw people breaking boards, and I thought, that's not going to happen. And it's true. What the mind can conceive, the body will believe. And let me tell you, when I broke my first board, I was almost in tears because I thought, I actually did it. So it's a very, very powerful message when you start believing in exactly what Michael's telling you, that, we are so much more than we think we are, because nobody's ever taught us that as a kid.
Exactly. How are we doing on time?
Well, we're going to have to wrap it up. We've got about 5 minutes.
Okay. I'd like to share something else with you as we're wrapping this up. And the most important thing for you to remember is that your cells of your body, the atoms, particles, molecules, the soup mix, has an intelligence. Okay? That intelligence will create whatever you're thinking. Most importantly, just think about something that's an oxymoron. You take two gases, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. What do you get? You get a liquid. What? 2 gases make a liquid? Amazing, isn't it? But you see, the atoms, particles, molecules, so on, has an intelligence also, and created a liquid. Now here's something for you to think about. Who do you think created putting 2 parts of hydrogen, 1 part of oxygen, and making a liquid called water that is serving your body and is part of your life force? Something to think about, which we'll address later. All I want to remind all of you is that you're unlimited. And to remind all of you that whatever you're thinking, whatever you're behaving, whatever you're saying, your body will respond to. So thank you. I know you have some things you want to share.
I do. Every Tuesday night, I want to thank you first, Michael, for the excellent topic. I can't wait to hear more. This is fantastic. If you have questions, definitely put them in the comments. And on Tuesday night, every Tuesday night, Michael does a call-in. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yes. Words of Wisdom. And it's from 6:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time to 7:30 Pacific Daylight Savings Time. Gives you an opportunity to ask any type of questions you so desire on a spiritual basis, and hopefully I can answer them. And then I leave a 10-minute message. I guess we got 335, 36.
No, 240, I think.
Oh, 240.
Yeah.
I was close, only 100 off, but you know what I mean.
It's been a long day.
I'll make it 700 next time. But
he's been doing this for a while. He's got over 200. I'm pretty sure it's close to 240.
And you have the opportunity, I call it the replay, to listen to it. So first of all, if you go to Dr. Michael B. Gross, go to YouTube, you can see some of the podcasts we're doing, and there's audible messages about those 10-minute motivational, let's say, energies and thoughts that I share with you. You can listen to that. Or you can dial this number, which is
202-926-1059, and the access code?
The 125-446 pound.
I'll give that one again. It's 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446 pound.
You character. Okay, now the recordings.
Yes.
The recording numbers you can access at this number: 434-300-4170, and the access code
125-446 pound.
I'll give that one again: 434-300-4170.
And the access code is 125-446 pound.
And
yes, on the second Saturday of every month, from 9:55 Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time. It's called Mass Consciousness Healing. It's such a beautiful thing. And what we do is send healing to anything, everyone on this planet, human, animal, mineral, vegetable kingdom. We send healing. And it is my goal to get 1% of the population, to get that 1% to realize they are the solution. They can make a difference to change this earth into a beautiful Garden of Eden. And the telephone number for that is
Oh, golly. Oh, golly.
202
202 926 1059. And
The access code is 125 446 pound. The same as the call in.
It's yes.
So please share this with everyone because you are important. You make a difference. Thank you so much.
And invite your friends. You know, those call-ins are every single Tuesday night. They're different. Very, very informative. You never know what people are going to ask, and it's very, very fascinating. And our planet really truly needs us all to make a collective effort to get together on that Saturday, second Saturday of the month, Mass Consciousness Healing, because united, when we're together, there's an energy of unconditional love that we bring to the world, and our planet really needs that right now. So on that note, Michael, did I cover it all?
You covered it all.
Okay, we are so thrilled that you're here with us tonight. We do this every Sunday night at 7 o'clock. And we also I have a YouTube page. Michael has a YouTube page, and we're both on Facebook as well. So please friend us, join us, and subscribe to our YouTube pages because we really need to just get the word out. Michael is a phenomenal spiritual guide. You can say he's my amazing mentor, my brother, and I am so blessed that he's in my life. And I'm ready. Okay.
All right, we're ready.
Start with this book.
So this program is brought to you by Healing the Holes in Your Soul
and The Spiritual Primer by Dr. Michael Gross.
So join us. And I wanted to share that I'm going through a second edition of the Spiritual Primer. There'll be more additional information, and I'll share it with you. I'm lock of words here. I'll share it with you when it gets out of the printers. So everyone have a great day, and remember, you are unlimited. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.